Welcome to Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions to better health and wellness through intentional living. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a lovely episode for you today. But before we get started, I'd like for you to go ahead and hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And of course, I always have a quote for you, right? At least most of the time. So today's quote, and of course, they're always related to today, "A walk in nature walks the soul back home" by Mary Davis. Now, this particular quote actually really, truly resonates with me and on my journey. During a time where I was really coping with being depressed, going through a transition in life, and just basically just trying to cope, right? And it was a rough time. So that quote really, and to add to that, it was my walks in nature that helped me feel gratitude. It was my walks in nature that helped me feel connected to the Most High, the Creator of all. It was the walks in nature that helped me feel connected to everything, right? And when I say everything, I'm talking about connections to the animals, the people, the trees, everything, right? It was my walks in nature that made me feel truly connected to Source. And it helped me through a rough time. It really, really did. And for me, being in nature was my sanctuary. It was my true sanctuary of solace and peace, as well as humility, right? So that's why I want to talk about this topic today. How many of you actually spend time in nature? How many of you actually get to spend moments just being in nature, right? Walking the trails in the park, taking walks in nature. How often do you do that? How often do you do it on a weekly basis? Because taking these walks in nature can actually bring profound effects to your wellness, your overall being, right? And bring that harmony into our lives. But it is part of staying connected. It's a part of being tuned in. Okay, so taking walks in nature, it does something. It does something not only for the mind but for the body, right? We know that walking is good for you. Taking walks, daily walks, is good for you, right? So it does something for the physical. It also does something for the mental, the mental health and fitness of our minds. When we take our walks in nature, we find, I can only speak from my experience, but also from reading of other people who have experienced the same thing. They feel a sense of connection, right? And I mentioned that already. But it helps you to bring more calm into your life. It is a great way to find a way of relaxation, to de-stress, to get rid of the noise, so to speak, right? Get rid of the noise of the everyday hustle and bustle, even if it's just for 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes, right? It is a way to reset and to reboot the body, taking walks in nature, spending time in nature. How often you do it is definitely something that you want to consider. Maybe you only do it once a week. Hey, it's a start, right? But you want to do it more often. You want to do it more often. And studies have shown right? Studies have shown that being in nature, even viewing images of images of nature scenes, reduces anger, fear, stress, and increase pleasant feelings or emotions, right? Um, it not only makes you feel better emotionally, but it also contributes, as I mentioned before, to your physical well-being. It reduces your blood pressure, right? Heart rate, muscle tension, and the production of stress hormones, right? And we know that cortisol, increase in cortisol, right? When we are experiencing stress, we produce more cortisol. So we know that chronic stress causes many illnesses and disease. So what way can we find alternatives into reducing stress, right? Being in nature is one of them. Being in nature, spending time. Even what about having a picnic day, right? Having a picnic day with the family, just spending time outdoors. What about, what about even listening to, and this is what I talk about when being present, right? Being present. Um, how many of you now, depending on where you are, right? How many of you now are waking up where the birds are actually like your alarm clock, right? Every day at the same time, they're chirping and singing a song. And I love to hear them. I love to hear their own melodies. It's beautiful, right? And it reminds me of this life that we have, this life that we are giving, right? And being able to uh enjoy every moment, right? So for me, the bird singing is a way of sending me a reminder of being grateful, a reminder of gratitude, a reminder of humility, a reminder of appreciation, right? Where you can just wake up and hear the birds singing, right? Or even in the daytime, like they were just chirping a little while ago, right? In the evening, they're singing their song. They're singing their own melody, their own tune. And it's a beautiful thing. And so you can't take those moments for granted because we never know. None of us knows when it could be where we could be taking our last breath. And so this is where you can find a place of having gratitude. And there can be so many different things that you could be unhappy about or not fulfilled, right? But if you just take the moment to just enjoy that moment, enjoy the present moment, right? Of just being in nature. Even if you're sitting in your home, right? Opening up the windows, letting the air circulate, right? And listening to the sounds of the birds, right? Listening to the sound of that, the animals chirping and singing, looking outside your window. Maybe you're watching the squirrel in the grass. Just simple little things, This you don't have to have a lot of money to do simple things, right? Some of the best things in life are for free, right? Some of the best things in life are for free. So as we are here in this moment, we are almost halfway through the year of 2024. It's already May, right? Before you know it, June will be here. We're just moving, right? We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of, doing this, doing that, striving for this, striving for that. We have these goals and ambitions, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to take time for ourselves to really uh, take time to put ourselves first, right? Where sometimes you may need to take a day off. Sometimes you may need to take a day off just to have a moment of woosah, right? Sometimes that weekend, those 2 days off just isn't enough. Maybe you have 2 or 3 jobs and you're working 16 hours a week, 7 days a week. It's okay. Take that one day off. Take that one day off. Single moms, right? If you're working a job and you have that guilty feeling because you're not home with your children as much as you would like to because you're so busy trying to pay the bills and keep your head above water. I know I've been there. Right? I've been there. My kids are grown and I've been there. Trust me. So when you have those moments when you just need to take a break, you just need to pause and take a breath. Take a break. Pause and just relax. Pause and just breathe, right? Pause and just be. Take a break from it all, right? And listen, I tell anyone that family comes first, right? Family comes first and foremost before any job. All right. Family comes first. And ladies, if you're working that second shift or burning the midnight oil and you're having trouble with your kids not being there for you and you're wondering, your kids are wanting you to be there and be present. Kids don't understand that you just need to pay bills and go to work and you're doing the best you can. All they want is your time, your presence. That's all they care about. Maybe you need to consider changing your shift, right? Maybe you need to consider changing your shift. Maybe your job don't have day shift available. Maybe you need to find maybe sometime. I'm just throwing different ideas out there how you can make it work and find that harmony, find that balance that fits for you and your family, right? Finding that balance that fits, that works well for you and your family. Because when children are small, um, they just want your presence. Now, I drifted off into all of that, right? Because we're talking about nature, but I wanted to bring that into that with nature and family, how it can work together if you sacrifice with some things and you can spend more time with your children and also having your children be a part of that experience of being in nature and learning how to be grounded and teaching them things and learning how to be connected.
If you are struggling with health issues like chronic pain, being held back by past traumas, or feeling overwhelmed and hopeless, please know there is hope. There is help. Transcendence, a woman's guide to healing and self-love for better health, happiness, and abundance, is a blueprint to help you get your life back and reclaim your health. Within its pages, you'll learn how to elevate your existence by shifting your mindset toward the positive, focusing your energy on what's really important, using gratitude to feel deep appreciation, changing your gene expression through epigenetics, building resilience, and living in a state of flow, feeling love overflow within. Go beyond an ordinary life. Transcend. Buy it now.
And that they are seeing positive changes, positive transitions that works for the family, right? Being able to, because remember, everything is a learned behavior, right? So with children, it shouldn't be in their mind that, okay, well, this is the way of the world. This is how, this is what mommy had to do or daddy had to do. They wasn't there and they're not around. This is what we have to do. So now they're going on, they're repeating the cycle into when they have their families, right? So, and this is how we just get away from nature and we get caught in that rat race cycle of just hustle and bustle and going to work, right? So it all ties in when I'm talking about family and single moms and making changes to make your work schedule work for your family. It all ties in, right? And this is how you can find that harmony, that balance, and when kids are small and impressionable, they need their parents, right? They need their parents. They need you to be there. So it's so important that we find ways that we can find a balance, find something that fits. So being apart in nature, doing family things in nature. Remember, I talked about maybe a family picnic, right? Where you can be out in the park. Kids love going to the park. They love being in the park, whether it's just riding their bike, playing ball, in the park, on the swings, whatever it is. And they're somewhere where they can truly be free, right? And they're not bound to in school where they have to always be where in a place where they have to pay attention, and the authoritative figure in school, they can, when that's their recess, when they can just be free, not in school, run around, have fun, and enjoy being a kid, right? Enjoy being a kid. Um, of course, like with anything, we always want to make sure that our children is safe. We always want to make sure that we're keeping our children safe. And so that is important too. So we can't just, because we're out in nature and we just letting them run all over the place and be free to do whatever they want and run 3, 4 miles out of your eyesight where you can't see them, right? But you understand what I'm saying, right? And how important that is, not just for you, but for the children, your family as a whole, right? Getting back to nature, spending time, either by the lake, maybe somewhere where you live where there is a natural waterfall, um, being in places like that, maybe even going to the zoo, right? Um, of course, that's not a natural environment, but you're still finding ways to uh, connect, right? Connect with other people, connecting with family, connecting as a whole. And that's important. It's important for your wellness. It's important for your health and well-being. We get so steered away from that. And that's why we have so many people battling anxiety, you know, trying to deal with depression, um, dealing with, anxiety, depression, um, all kind of stuff, right? All kind of mental health issues. Because not only are this fear or an embarrassment of our own things that we're trying to deal with, right? Or maybe keeping hidden that we don't want others to know about when it comes to our mental health. But if we can be more open and authentic about ourselves and where we're at, and not worry about being judged, right? And not worry about being judged, because at some point, everyone has a, a moment where they have experienced being in a dark place, right? Including myself. And I've talked about that before in the past, I filed for bankruptcy. I was homeless, right? I've talked about these things before, dealing with depression, right? Vitamin D levels, dealing with my own health issues, right? Fibroids, and bleeding, heavy bleeding, right? Where it would just go on for a long time. Anemia. We still have to find a way that we can uh, find joy in our lives and find happiness. And one way of doing that is connecting, experiencing being in nature more often. And a part of that, I even talk about, the importance of earthing, grounding, right? Planting your feet, bare feet in the ground, maybe even going to the beach, right? Walking on the beach, taking walks along the water, connecting, right? Remember, we were created from water. Every living thing was created from water. So we are a part of it. Being in nature, going to the beach, right? Walking along the sand, experiencing a moment of joy, experiencing a moment of peace. And it could be something that is very calming and relaxing for you, and being free and not worrying about tomorrow, nor are we going to dwell in the past. So we're not going to dwell in the past and worry about what could have been, what should have been, nor are we going to worry about tomorrow and if if this bill is going to get paid or if this is going to happen. We need to stay in the present moment of now, right now, in this very moment. So being in nature helps you do that. It truly does. Taking walks in the park. Um, it can have so many benefits, and I already named some of them, right? Helping you with your blood sugar level, reducing stress, right? Bringing more calm and relaxation, physical benefits, as well as mental and emotional, right? Because when we're dealing with different things that's going on in our lives, it can affect our emotional wellness as well. So it can be your place of solitude, escape, right? A place where we can reboot, rejuvenate. It feels great to just take a walk in the park. I actually walked today, and it's a good feeling. Um, and it's just, and just being able to walk by another person, hi, hello, and smile and even if we give each other a smile, a nod, right? It's all just this beautiful scene, beautiful experience, where no one is expecting anything in return. It just is what it is. A beautiful moment, a beautiful time to not worry and think about anything. So that is what I'm saying, and when I mention about really connecting, right? Getting back to nature, and how it can really help you. Um, if people could do it more, I mean, think about it. Why have you noticed some facilities, some places where you go to work environment, they build these artificial ponds, right? Water fountains. They create an atmosphere of solace, right? Or an atmosphere of tranquility, right? With benches and the greenery and rocks and water, right? They have these beautiful elements all by design because they know that people experience work-related stress, right? So when you go out on your break, when you go out on your break and take your lunch break, you have a moment where you can maybe just sit outside, right? So they're still giving you that nature factor experience. Usually you see that in a lot of maybe other maybe larger companies or whatever. But you will notice that it's like it's all by design because they know that stress is not only is it the silent killer, but it can have an impact, right? A major impact on your work performance, So they do these things in order to give you something back, where you can at least experience a time and a moment and a place for relaxation, a place for wusa. Okay, so I didn't have much to talk about, but I wanted to talk about that today. I wanted to talk about nature, getting back to nature. And as we are here now, like in spring, where I am at in Ohio, we do experience the 4 seasons. Um, it's important, right? It's important to now, as the weather is getting nicer, to really get out there, right? And not only that, when the sun is shining, you need to be out in the sun anyway to get your vitamin D, right? Of course, protecting your skin or at least being out there for a minimum of 15 minutes in the sun, 10 to 15 minutes, right? But remember that helps too with vitamin D. We don't produce vitamin D, right? And lack of vitamin D can cause depression as well as mood swings, muscle cramps, and a host of other things. So we need to do that. Find a way to really get back to nature. Find a way to really get out there and experience the joy of being in nature and experience the joy of living in the present moment, living in the now, right? Living in the now and expressing expressing gratitude. Okay. I think that was all I wanted to cover. This episode may be a short episode, but I really wanted to talk about the importance of getting out there and being in nature and the wonders of being in nature and what it can do for you on so many different levels. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay healthy, stay well, and until next time, bye for now.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Health Coach for Women with Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.